21-year-old man urinating in a reservoir that supplies our drinking water, and surveillance cameras are rolling.
Yeah, it happened at a Mount Tabor reservoir in southeast Portland just after 1:30 this morning. K2's Megan Kalkstein talked to the Portland Water Bureau, and a silly stunt with a pretty pricey fix, Meg.
Yeah, and I actually also talked on the phone to the young man who admitted to me that he urinated in that reservoir. He didn't want to talk on camera, but he says he apologizes and feels bad. The Water Bureau says that they've taken that reservoir offline. It'll have to be drained, cleaned, and then refilled at a price of roughly $35,000.
The surveillance video is a bit hard to see, but you're looking at 5 people and a dog at Mount Tabor Reservoir #1 after park hours. The Portland Water Bureau administrator says it shows
somebody just threw something in the water again.
Unknown objects getting tossed right into the reservoir. Then a 21-year-old man walks up and urinates right into the drinking water.
Oh, it's gross. Yeah, I think that's not appropriate at all.
Well, of course it's gross. It's kind of silly that he would do that.
It may be a silly stunt, but it's a pricey fix.
Then they'll super chlorinate it.
To clean the reservoir that's now shut down, it'll cost more than $7,500 to empty it. And that drinking water would have sold for upwards of $28,000. Now it's money down the drain.
It's 8 million gallons, and there are people that'll say it's an overreaction. I don't think so. I think just dealing with the yuck factor, I can imagine how many people would be saying, I made orange juice with that water this morning. That is not what I want to hear.
David Schaff, the administrator for the Water Bureau, says they do find other things in the reservoirs, but don't dump the water.
If I shut down the reservoir every time a tennis ball or a dead duck or a dead squirrel or a frisbee was in the reservoir, I'd shut them down almost daily.
But he says urine is different, and he'd rather be cautious.
We have 10 billion gallons behind the dams up in the Bull Run, and a couple 100 million gallons sitting in Portland right now, and I can afford to let 7.8 million gallons go down the drain.
The Bureau is working to comply with federal regulations for covered reservoirs. They'll have to be done with Mount Tabor by 2015, and then the reservoirs in Washington Park, those will have to be done by 2020. Now, no one has been arrested or cited in this case. The district attorney will determine any possible criminal charges. So obviously we're not naming that 21-year-old. Did talk to him on the phone. He apologizes. He says he'll do any kind of, work, volunteer work, anything he's got to do. As for the reservoir out there, could take several days, but I'm told no one should see any kind of impact by that.
So they're going off of the yuck factor. We're not really exactly sure what exactly would be on that list other than this man urinating in it.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Thank you, Megan.